Beamy 28-year-old male, Leo, working as a junior architect at a mid-sized firm. Pretty decent life. Good job, nice apartment, great friends. I wouldn't say I'm killing it, but I'm definitely not drowning. Our office is one of those open-plan deals. You know the type: exposed brick glass walls, a designated creative space with beanbags that nobody ever uses. It's trendy, but it also means you have zero privacy. Everyone can see and hear everything, which brings me to her. Let's call her Clarissa. Clarissa is a senior architect, probably in her late 30s. She's what you might call a strong personality, which is corporate speak for loud and opinionated. She's also very, very into feminism. Now, let me be clear, I have no problem with feminism. I believe in equality, I respect women, all that good stuff. But Clarissa's brand of feminism was intense. Every conversation, every project, every single interaction somehow looped back to the patriarchy. A client wants to change the color of a building from beige to off-white. That's a manifestation of male dominance in the design world. The coffee machine is out of almond milk, a clear sign of the systemic oppression of female vegans. You get the picture. It was exhausting. Most of us just learned to nod along and avoid making eye contact. It was easier than getting dragged into a 20-minute lecture about how the placement of urinals is a microaggression. So I did my best to keep my head down and do my work. I was on a big project with a tight deadline, so I was pulling some late nights. One evening, I'm at my desk trying to finish up some renderings. The office is mostly empty, except for me, Clarissa, and a couple of other people from a different department. It's quiet, peaceful even. I'm in the zone, headphones on, listening to some lo-fi beats to help me concentrate. Suddenly, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I jump, startled. It's Clarissa. She's got that look on her face, the one that says she's about to make a federal case out of something. "Can I help you, Clarissa?" She points to my screen. "What is that?" I'm confused. It's a rendering of a modern, minimalist house. Lots of glass, clean lines, you know the drill. It's the Johnson residence. I'm just finishing up the final touches. She squints at the screen. "And what's that?" She's pointing to a figure I'd placed in the rendering for scale. It was a generic 3D model of a person, a male in a suit. I used them all the time. They were just placeholders. It's a scale figure, to give a sense of the space. She crosses her arms. A male figure, of course. Oh boy, here we go. It's just a generic model, Clarissa. I didn't even think about it. That's the problem, Leo. You didn't think, you just defaulted to the male perspective. It's indicative of a larger problem in this industry. I sigh, trying to keep my cool. Look, I can change it if you want. It's no big deal. It is a big deal. It's about representation. It's about challenging the male-centric narrative of architecture. I'm tired. I've been at work for 10 hours. I just want to go home. Okay, Clarissa, you've made your point. I'll be more mindful in the future. I turn back to my computer, hoping that's the end of it. It's not. She leans in closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "You know, Leo, I've noticed a pattern with you, a pattern of subtle misogyny." I spin around in my chair. "What are you talking about?" "The way you interrupt me in meetings, the way you dismiss my ideas. It's a classic case of a man feeling threatened by a powerful woman." My jaw drops. I've never interrupted her in a meeting. I've never dismissed her ideas. If anything, I've gone out of my way to be respectful, to avoid setting her off. "Clarissa, that's not true. I've always been professional with you." "See, you're getting defensive." Another classic male tactic. I'm starting to get angry. "I'm getting defensive because you're accusing me of something I didn't do," she scoffs. "Men like you are all the same. You can't handle a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind." She turns and walks away, leaving me fuming at my desk. I try to shake it off, to get back to work, but I can't. Her words are ringing in my ears. Subtle misogyny, a pattern. Was I a bad person? Was I a misogynist? I replayed every interaction I'd ever had with her in my head, searching for evidence. I couldn't find any, but the seed of doubt had been planted. The next morning, I get to work and there's an email from Human Resources in my inbox. Subject, formal complaint. My blood runs cold. I open it, my heart pounding in my chest. It's from Clarissa. She's filed a formal complaint against me for creating a hostile work environment and engaging in a pattern of misogynistic behavior. I feel like I'm going to be sick. I read through the complaint, my hands shaking. It's a work of fiction. She's twisted every interaction we've ever had into something sinister. That time I disagreed with her about the placement of a window. I was undermining her authority. That time I asked her to clarify a point she'd made in a presentation. I was questioning her competence. It was a nightmare. I'm called into a meeting with Human Resources. A stern-faced woman named Brenda and a nervous-looking guy named Tom. They look at me like I'm a monster. Brenda reads from Clarissa's complaint, her voice dripping with disapproval. Leo, these are very serious allegations. I try to defend myself, to explain my side of the story. None of this is true, she's twisting everything. Brenda holds up a hand. We're not here to assign blame, Leo. We're here to investigate. Investigate. The word hangs in the air like a guillotine. What does that mean? It means we'll be talking to your colleagues, reviewing your emails, and looking into your work history. My work history. I've been with the company for 5 years. I've never had a single complaint against me, but now my entire career is on the line. The next few days are hell. I can feel the whispers and the stares as I walk through the office. People who used to be my friends now avoid my gaze. I'm a pariah. I'm put on administrative leave pending the results of the investigation. I'm not allowed to come into the office. I'm not allowed to contact any of my colleagues. I'm cut off. I spend my days pacing around my apartment, replaying every moment of the past few weeks in my head. I'm a wreck. I can't eat. I can't sleep. My mind is a prison of anxiety and self-doubt. I call my parents and they're supportive, but I can hear the worry in their voices. I talk to my best friend Mark and he's furious on my behalf. Dude, this is insane. You're the least misogynistic person I know. His words are a small comfort, but they don't change the fact that my life is falling apart. A week goes by and then another. I hear nothing from Human Resources. The silence is deafening. I start to imagine the worst. I'm going to be fired. I'm going to be blacklisted from the industry. My life is over. One morning, I get a call from an unknown number. I almost don't answer it, but something tells me I should. Hello, Leo. It's Brenda from Human Resources. My heart stops. We've completed our investigation. This is it, the moment of truth. And there's a long pause on the other end of the line. We've reviewed the security camera footage from the night of the incident. Security cameras, I'd completely forgotten about them. Our office is wired up like Fort Knox. There are cameras everywhere, 10, 17, and the footage tells a very different story from the one in the complaint. I can't breathe. It shows you at your desk working. It shows Clarissa approaching you. It shows a brief conversation, and then it shows her walking away. Brenda's voice has lost its accusatory tone. Now she just sounds tired. There's no evidence of a hostile confrontation. There's no evidence of any of the things she's accused you of. Relief washes over me in a tidal wave. I feel like I could collapse. So, what happens now? We'd like you to come in for a meeting this afternoon, 2 o'clock. The meeting is in the same conference room as before. Brenda and Tom are there, but this time so is the head of the firm, a man named Mr. Henderson. He's a big, imposing guy, but he has a kind face. He looks at me with a mixture of sympathy and regret. Leo, I want to personally apologize for what you've been through. This whole situation has been handled very poorly. He turns to Brenda and Tom. We have a process for these things, and that process was not followed. We jumped to conclusions, and for that, I am deeply sorry. He then explains that they've had a meeting with Clarissa. When confronted with the security camera footage, her story fell apart. She became defensive, then belligerent, and eventually she admitted that she had exaggerated the incident. Exaggerated, that's one word for it. What's going to happen to her? Mr. Henderson sighs. We've terminated her employment effective immediately. I'm not sure how to feel about that. On the one hand, I'm glad that she's facing consequences for her actions. On the other hand, I don't take any pleasure in seeing someone lose their job. We'd like to offer you your job back, of course, with a raise and a promotion. A promotion, I'm stunned. And we'd also like to offer you a paid leave of absence for as long as you need to recover from this ordeal. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to say. Thank you, I manage to stammer out. The next few weeks are a blur. I take the leave of absence and I use the time to decompress. I go on a trip with Mark. We go hiking, we go fishing, we sit by a lake and don't talk for hours. It's exactly what I need. When I finally go back to work, things are different. The whispers are gone. The stares are gone. My colleagues welcome me back with open arms. They've all heard what happened and they're all on my side. I learned that Clarissa had a history of making similar complaints against male colleagues at her previous jobs. She had a pattern, but this time it had finally caught up with her. The experience changed me. It made me more cautious, more cynical, but it also made me stronger. It taught me the importance of due process, of not jumping to conclusions. And it taught me that the truth, no matter how brutal, will always come out in the end. The promotion was real. I'm a senior architect now. I'm leading my own team. I'm doing what I love. And every once in a while, when I'm working late, I'll glance up at the security camera in the corner of the office and I'll smile. A small, private smile of gratitude. Because I know that without that silent, unblinking witness, my life could have been very different. The cameras told a brutal truth, and in the end, the truth set me free. I still believe in feminism. I still believe in equality, but I also believe in fairness. And I believe that no one, male or female, should have to go through what I went through. The experience left its scars, no doubt. There are still moments when a casual comment or a misread expression can send a jolt of anxiety through me. I'm more guarded now, more careful with my words and actions. I don't think that will ever completely go away. But I'm learning to live with it. I'm learning to not let it define me. I'm a good person, I'm a good architect, and no false accusation can ever take that away from me. The office has changed too. There's a new sense of awareness, a new commitment to fairness and respect. Mr. Henderson has implemented new training programs for all employees focused on communication and conflict resolution. He's made it clear that the company has a zero-tolerance policy for false accusations. It's a step in the right direction, a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. And as for me, I'm just trying to move forward, one day at a time. One rendering at a time. And every time I place a scale figure in one of my designs, I make sure to use a female one. Not because I'm afraid of being accused of something again, but because it's a small, simple way to acknowledge the importance of representation. It's a small, simple way to show that I've learned something, that I've grown, and that's a truth that no camera can ever capture. It's a truth that I carry with me every single day. And it's a truth that makes me a better architect and a better man. The whole ordeal taught me a lot about the people I work with. Some of them, the ones I thought were my friends, showed their true colors. They distanced themselves from me, afraid of being associated with the pariah. Others, people I barely knew, surprised me with their kindness and support. A guy from the accounting department, a quiet, unassuming man named David, sent me an email while I was on leave. He just said, "I don't believe a word of it, keep your head up." That small gesture meant the world to me. It was a lifeline in a sea of suspicion and doubt, and then there was Amelia. Amelia was a junior designer who had started at the firm a few months before everything went down. She was smart, talented, and had a wicked sense of humor. We'd had a few friendly conversations by the coffee machine, but I didn't know her that well. When I came back to work, she was one of the first people to approach me. "I'm so glad you're back," she said, with a genuine smile. I knew it was all nonsense from the start. We started talking more after that. We'd have lunch together, we'd bounce ideas off each other for our projects. I found myself looking forward to seeing her every day. She was a breath of fresh air, a reminder that not everyone is out to get you. One evening, we were both working late, just like that fateful night with Clarissa, but this time the atmosphere was different. It was comfortable, easy. We were talking about a new project, a community center for a low-income neighborhood. We were both really passionate about it. You know, she said, looking at me with a thoughtful expression, what you went through was awful. But you've handled it with so much grace. I shrugged, feeling a little embarrassed. I don't know about grace, I mostly just drank a lot of whiskey and watched a lot of Netflix. She laughed, a warm, musical sound. Well, you've come out the other side stronger, and I think that's pretty amazing. We looked at each other for a long moment, and there was something in her eyes that I hadn't seen before, a spark. A few days later, I asked her out on a date. She said yes. We went to a little Italian place in the village and we talked for hours about everything and nothing. It was the most natural, easy conversation I'd had in a long time. And at the end of the night, when I walked her to her door, she kissed me. It was a soft, gentle kiss full of promise, and in that moment I felt like I could finally, truly start to heal. Amelia and I are still together. It's been a year now. She's my rock, my biggest supporter, my best friend. She's helped me to see that there's still good in the world, that there are still people who are kind and compassionate and fair. I still have my moments of doubt and anxiety. I don't think they'll ever completely disappear. But now when they come, I have someone to talk to, someone who understands, someone who reminds me that I'm not alone. And that makes all the difference. I'm not sure what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I feel optimistic. I feel like I'm finally back on my feet, I'm a survivor, and I'm ready to build something new. Something beautiful, something that will last, both in my work and in my life. And I have a feeling it's going to be my best design yet.